My name is Emily Okatel-McHugh, and this presentation is on sustainable food security in Bangladesh, a social intervention, farmers helping farmers. This presentation is for marketing social causes for University of Sunshine Coast. There will be a 20-minute presentation, so please enjoy. Following social marketing intervention plan, we'll discuss the intervention plan to create sustainable agriculture and food security in third world nations such as Bangladesh. Sustainable food security is an issue that results from multitude of factors with consequences that jeopardize the survival of the Bangladeshi population. Currently, there are several organizations that are deployed into this third world country to start establishing programs to enable the development of secure food resources and products. Food security is key in the development of a country and the survival of its population. Many food producers are still farming in unsustainable, uneconomic manners due to the lack of education and financial capability. This intervention plan will discuss the implementation strategy to create a one-time behavioural change in Australia to create the opportunity for change in Bangladesh. This plan will discuss the scope of the issue, intervention aims, marketing plan, evaluation, and finally, any ethical considerations that must be taken in. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, food security is defined as when all people, at all times, have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary requirements and food preferences for an active and healthy life. The following is a list of some of the major factors that contribute to the growing concern of food security: climate change, natural disasters, aging populations, overpopulation, unsustainable land practices, crop disease and livestock disease, political and community conflicts and difficulties, urban migration, lack of education. These issues are widespread throughout Bangladesh, Africa, and Iran, just to name a few. Bangladesh has the world's largest population in the smallest area of space. They are located on several major fault lines, and the country lays on major rivers and becomes inundated by monsoonal weather and heat waves. Bangladesh is also having internal and external conflicts with its communities and is a politically volatile area in the world. NGOs such as CGIAR and the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research and International Maize and Wheat Improvement Centre, CIMMYT, have entered the country to help establish practices and programs to help combat the growing issue in regards to food security. Food insecurity affects the whole nation, including those who are the most disenfranchised, destitute, and the extreme rural poor are those who need to be targeted to improve their food security. Their religious and political views affect the ability to make change quickly and smoothly. Bangladesh has a diverse range of issues that stem from destitution to overpopulation. It is key to ensure that the nation of Bangladesh has secure food for its population. Due to a multitude of issues that are causing food insecurity, which cannot be changed or improved overnight, one issue that can be targeted, however, is providing education and the tools needed to farm and the community to simply be able to grow and produce high amounts of yield sustainably. This will enable a quicker and more tangible change within the community. Australia and its community are positioned in a way where they can contribute to the improvement and growth of food security in developing countries such as Bangladesh, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. With the expertise in agricultural research and successful implementation of sustainable practices, Australia can support and create change in these developing countries to help boost the long-term agricultural productivity to create food security, and while also meeting the needs of the vulnerable population in these countries. Targeting the extremely poor rural farms within the nation of Bangladesh is the key is to educate them on sustainable and economic ways of farming and implementing machinery and equipment that enables them to actively practice what they have been taught by experts. The increasing of yield, implementation of control traffic practices, triple crop farming, and finally mechanizing farms are just a few examples of what can be done to improve food security. Farmers are needing to access machinery and experts. Therefore, by implementing a social cause campaign in Australia that supports NGOs in supplying farmers with their needs, it will start to help create change in sustainable and secure food. Finally, this intervention plan is farmers helping farmers to ensure that everyone has the capacity to access food that meets all their needs and preferences sustainably and economically. Key to understand what literature has been written about mechanization in third world countries and its effect on sustainable agriculture, as well as marketing and business studies around consumer behavior and corporate social responsibility and charitable giving. Attached in the appendix in the intervention plan, there is a critical table of supporting peer-reviewed research. Agricultural research has been conducted in third world developing countries such as China, Africa, and Bangladesh, as well as developed countries such as the US and Australia. Research papers have given evidence that conservation agriculture mechanization is the key in creating sustainable food security for developing countries. Dr. Alan D. McHugh has done extensive research throughout China, Bangladesh, and Australia, with multiple peer-reviewed papers supporting conservation agriculture and mechanization, and the difficulty that arises when implementing conservation agriculture without the proper machinery. From research undertaken in Gansu, China, in the Hengxi corridor, Dr. McHugh and his research team found out that conservation agriculture can be implemented in the region without the loss of yield and with considerable gains in natural resource conservation, provided that the operational capabilities of the prototype machinery continues to improve. Regarding business and marketing research, there is a clear link between social causes and corporate social responsibility, and businesses and people that are more likely to align with themselves with social causes that benefit them. Secondly, by embedding donations into products, it relieves the pressure of the financial donation and consumers are more likely to choose a product that it has a donation included in them if they are at a similar price. Therefore, the literature supports this for the intervention that has been chosen. Behavioral theory that works best for this type of campaign is the one-time behavioral change model. The farmer buys the farming equipment and machinery, and the farmer in Bangladesh gets an expert as well as equipment needed to implement sustainable practices. Then the Australian farmer does not need to continually support the social cause, and this is very appealing. The two theories that will be used in this model are the planned behavior and the elaborative likelihood models. This model fits best as the Australian farmer will have similar life experiences that will likely make them feel more inclined to participate in the intervention plan. The problem behavior is food security in third world countries like Bangladesh. This is due to lack of education, limit to access of current machinery, cultural and political issues, the use of traditional farming methods, and no implementation of conservation agriculture and sustainable practices, just to name a few. However, here in Australia, farmers implemented food security practices, conservation and sustainability practices, and that they have helped farmers stay competitive and secure in the current market. In Australia, some farmers have been subject to harsh conditions due to climate and weather issues, political and economic issues, as well as disease and urban migration. Most of these issues boil down to cultural influences, economic influences, environmental influences. This means that even here in Australia, farmers may be able to relate to farmers in Bangladesh and be motivated to support them and even comply due to social norms. The following show the diagram on the slide is the conceptual framework that will be chosen for this intervention plan. need to be innovative due to the saturation of charities and social causes on the market. Therefore, the intervention plan will focus on business to business to create change using corporate social responsibility while embedding donation into products to relieve some of the financial burden of donating. This will focus on the environmental issues in Bangladesh and the need to implement conservation agriculture and mechanizations to their farms. It is clear from the research completed to have an increase in food security and sustainable farming, it is key to mechanize and implement conservation agriculture to farms in developing countries. As a developed country, most farmers are already implementing these practices and now proving why it is important. Farmers are now more competitive, sustainable, and productive in the current environment. Partnering with corporately responsible machinery and farming equipment companies allows for the development of donations to be embedded in the product. This will allow for Australian farmers to easily contribute a donation to CIMMET without feeling the financial burden, as well as ensuring that farmers in Bangladesh are able to mechanise their farms. Consumers will tend to buy products with an included donation that are a similar price to those without. Partnering with companies such as machinery manufacturers and suppliers, such as John Deere, Great Hill Efficiency Through Design, Grizzly Engineering, Groundbreaking Technology, and Darken, as well as tool companies and landscaping and gardening manufacturers such as Ryobi, Opsy, Bosch, Trojan, and Makia. Partnering also with companies that wish to align and leverage off this campaign and be socially responsible. Using Australian farming businesses and manufacturers and suppliers will be able to create change due to shared experiences and growing understanding of the need to mechanise the third world nations. It is a one-off purchase of a tractor, planters, harvesters, tools, irrigation equipment, and much more, with a small donation included in the purchasing price. This is then sent to an organisation such as CIMMET, who is based in Bangladesh, where the specialty consultants can support the farmers and develop a plan to implement machinery and conservation ag. This business-to-business partnering allows for an ability to be innovative, as well as using a brand that has high brand recognition and brand awareness. This plan will offer opportunities for Australian manufacturing companies and multinationals to leverage off the company and create an entryway into exporting equipment to these developing countries. The Australian farmers or equipment consumers is instantly rewarded by receiving their equipment, while the machinery or equipment company leverages off the campaign and promotes that they are socially responsible. And finally, CIMMET can directly work with farmers to meet their objectives in building food security in Bangladesh and Southeast Asia. This is a one-off behavioural change for Australians. However, this will provide a long-term sustainable change in Bangladesh. A one-off behavioural change works best for this plan as it does not create a commitment to donate. This making donating more desirable in the consumer's eyes, as well as embedding the donation, it relieves the financial concerns of donating, and this as long as the purchasing price is of similar prices to their competitors. The intervention aims to provide experts in agricultural equipment and machinery to rural poor of Bangladesh. To do this, the plan aims to target Australian farmers and people who purchase agricultural equipment. Therefore, this plan aims to partner with socially responsible multinationals and Australian companies to create an embedded donation program. This donation program aims to give 10% of every sale to CIMMET to implement the plan. The product provided is tangible and services, as the Australian consumer will purchase a tangible product from the machinery company, which will then provide Bangladeshis with services as well as tangible products through a non-government organisation called CIMMET. Currently, the machinery industry is in the decline phase of its life cycle in Australia. Therefore, this will give the machinery and equipment companies the opportunity to enter the international market and export to an untapped market. As currently export in the industry are medium and are decreasing, while as a nation importing products are high and are increasing. Therefore, by partnering with a social cause, provides opportunities to leverage and create new markets for the products. Currently, the market is highly fragmented, which in the machinery and equipment industries, most companies are being small scale and are not having large shares in the market. majority is specializing and not diversifying their product range, and are competing with large-scale overseas manufacturers. The target market is Australian farmers and consumers who are needing to purchase farming equipment. People who are investing in Australian farming equipment who see that there is a need to support farmers overseas. Consumers who are aged 20 to 35 who are purchasing farming equipment with medium to high disposable income. Farmers and people who are aged 35 to 50 with high equipment budgets and using agricultural conservation practices. Finally, the plan will target those who are socially aware, and this is the social marketing intervention target market. Consumers will not only gain their product, but they will also be giving a donation without feeling the financial pressure of donating. Therefore, by using an established brand and product, it will allow for the donation and behavioural change to be promoted. Due to charity fatigue, the intervention will be more unique and fits with the social cause interventions such as the Thank You Company, which uses products to create change around the world. Not only has this company created revenue for its business itself, but also created change overseas. This plan will be competing with other brands and companies that are creating change. However, currently there is a market for creating change through agriculture industry, which is one of Australia's largest markets and yet has not been tapped. Therefore, it is a competitive advantage for this plan. Pricing of the products will follow the agricultural company's pricing strategy to ensure that it still aligns with their policies. Product prices must remain at a similar price to competitors to ensure that companies remain competitive and entice consumers to purchase. Agricultural equipment cost price tends to be less than half of the selling price, which ranges between $20 to $700,000, which suggests that there tends to be an average markup of 50% of the cost price. Therefore, companies would be losing a 10% profit. So, for example, on a cost price of $100,000 with a markup of 50%, which will give you $200,000, less the 10% donation, which would leave a profit of $198,000 with a donation of $2,000 to Simit. With this purchasing, there is an ability for a tax donation for the company, and they will be able to have that deducted and returned to them at tax return time at the end of the financial year. Thus, this is a feasible and practical way of receiving donations, as well as ensuring that consumers are getting what they need and also having a change. The action program will be distributed through selected partners and will use their supply chain to consumers. All products will be sold through John Deere dealerships, in-store, online, as well as other agricultural machinery and engineering companies such as Greytail, Grizzly Engineering, Darkin, Sylvan Australia, Grayson's, PFG, and other companies. Finally, this program will have the opportunity to distribute through dealers, wholesales, and department stores such as Bunnings and Howard's Australia and other private sales. Advertising will be an integrated marketing communication plan, ensuring that multiple vehicles and media are used to reach the target market. Due to this plan's partnerships with John Deere and other established companies, there is already brand awareness. Consumers have previously been through hierarchy of effects models when purchasing these products. However, awareness would need to be raised regarding the social cause that is now linked to this product. Promotions would be used via leveraging techniques, as well as working together to meet both parties' promotional requirements. Communications must use both consumer processing model as well as the hedonic experiential model due to the high involvement process of these products. Therefore, consumers will be persuaded to purchase the selected company's products and to give a donation for the elaborative likelihood model using the dual route, central and peripheral routes. There are two controllable factors that will allow consumers to have the ability to be persuaded, which will be the message's argument as well as the peripheral cues. While having an understanding that the ability, opportunity, motivation, involvement, and in the initial position will affect their ability to be persuaded to purchase the product and be involved in the behavioral change. By using the dual route, it will provide a medium change to attitude, which fits perfectly with the one-off behavioral change. This advertisement aims to target the shared experiences with consumers and this is because this will encourage a consumer to engage with the behavioral change. You need to have a budget for the advertising, or at least understanding what method this plan is aiming to meet. The best fit for this intervention plan is objectives and tasks method. This is the method that sets a budget using a procedure and logic. As this intervention plans to aim to partner with companies that have marketing budgets already, it is clear that the plan has a sequential procedure to ensure that these companies can see how their budget will fit with the organization. This intervention plan created is a procedure or objectives and tasks, which will allow for potential partners and sponsors to see where they fit within the plan within their budget. Advertising strategy aims to reach the target market by using multiple media and vehicles due to the diversity of the target market. Therefore, both traditional media and digital media will be used via broadcasting media, print and support media, and e-commerce. This will consist of vehicles such as radio, TV, magazines, out-of-home ads, packaging, websites, social media, emails, and search engine marketing. With this will enable the reach to be larger, will allow for consumers to have more opportunities, ability, and to be motivated to engage with the advertisement and the social cause. The message will aim to inform and persuade customers to make the one-time behavioral change using arguments and emotive cues. The message tagline will be "Farmers helping farmers. Food security starts here," as this will allow the ability to tap into shared experiences with the consumer and the social cause. This advertising will be able to show how, due to the experience, fortitude, support, and the good old Aussie optimism, farmers have ensured that there is food security for the nation. It is key to have logical arguments in the advertising, as well as emotive and engaging language. Australian farmers have been through similar hardships, understand the importance of machinery and experts on the land. It is clear that this message expresses the shared relationships logically and emotionally. Farmers helping farmers is a simple way to trigger a connection. Then, by linking factors that farmers here have overcome or working through to what is currently happening in Bangladesh will really help create this understanding of shared experiences. The following several slides will entail some ideas and mock-ups of advertising for this intervention plan, from Facebook to TV and YouTube to even magazine and logo ideas. I will continue explaining some of them as we go through. First example is just of a quick video taken in China of specific machinery used to plant peanuts. This is a quick demonstration of what type of video could be used to express what is needing to be done in Bangladesh. And it's just a good little quick mock-up. again, is another example of a TV or YouTube ad that could be played. Once again, this would potentially need some voiceovers, some emotive language, but it's just a good, simple idea of showing exactly what these people need in Bangladesh. Utilizing articles and magazines to promote this is a great idea. So by using pictures from current companies, from current projects, to really express what is currently being done not only in Bangladesh but in other countries. The images on this slide show the current work in China. The gentleman with the black cap on is Alan D. McHugh, who is one of the major research scientists. These images were taken in China on research sites there, showing the success of implementing some of the machinery that is being developed specifically for food security and conservation agriculture. By implementing this into magazine articles or even journal articles expressing how this work can be done to create change. This will engage with farmers. Finally, these are some logos for packaging and other various types of promotions. So these will be able to be implemented in partnership with our companies that choose to align with us. And these are just three simple ways to really engage with our consumers by simply just throwing this up on a Facebook page, by being in a article or a magazine, or even on any other print media, on big billboard signs. These are simple ways to engage with the consumers and to make it really memorable. And it's also a simple way that you don't always have to have the tagline, because people will start to remember the logo. And that is part of the brand awareness and the brand development of this social cause. Evaluating this marketing plan We'll be using consumer responses as well as dollars raised, as well as tracking and using marketing and business analytic programs. So the intention is for this campaign to run for a year, with a evaluation every 3 months to ensure that there is sales turnover and revenue entering the CIMMET fund. This will also ensure that everything is running ethically, which I'll be talking about in the next slide. But with this evaluation using business analytics and social media analytics, as well as just basic income revenue, this will be able to give us some meaningful and useful data to interpret to see the rate of success of this intervention plan. Finally, we're going to talk about the ethical issues or ethical consideration for this intervention plan. So the intervention will remain ethical by following frameworks regarding advertising, incentives, and even research. This social cause marketing plan will remain honest, objective, and have integrity. Will abide by any laws and policies created by the Australian government and the countries involved in this program. To remain ethical, there will be contracts and monitoring of all partners and funds raised, as well as ensuring that all disclaimers and terms and conditions are communicated effectively to consumers and businesses. It is the consumer's right to have ethical advertising, products, and businesses. Therefore, is the interventions plan to aim to ensure that it remains ethical and upholds all best practice standards, and legislation that it falls under. There must be an understanding that being ethical does not just stop here in Australia, but it also follows the social cause marketing plan to the nation that it is supporting. Therefore, all cultural, social, and governmental barriers and ethical issues will be dealt with sensitivity and integrity. This plan will ensure that there is policies and procedures that will be followed that ensures that there is a positive ethical framework for this intervention. Finally, to conclude, Farmers Helping Farmers, a social cause marketing plan, aims to improve food security by creating change here in Australia. This plan will partner with companies who are socially responsible to target agricultural consumers, such as farmers and consumers of agriculture and farming goods. This integrated marketing communication plan for the social cause of food security is about engaging with consumers to persuade a one-off behavioural change by purchasing a product linked to farmers helping farmers. The intervention message is about shared experiences between Australian farmers and Bangladesh farmers. It aims to give the NGO CIMMET 10% of each sale to implement conservation agriculture practices on farms and implement machinery, as it is evidence that it improves food security dramatically. This plan aims to use integrated marketing communication plan using multiple media and vehicles to send a message to consumers. This plan will remain ethical and abide by all legislation, policies, and procedures. For further information or anything else regarding this, please find attached the intervention plan. This also includes the critical table of all research conducted to create this intervention plan. Thank you very much, and I really hope you enjoyed listening to this presentation, and it would be great if you take this into consideration. Thank you.